In this video, we'll go through an example on how to factorize a cubic expression. And in this example, we will factorize x cubed plus 3x squared minus 6x minus 8. And in order for us to factorize this, we first need to find a factor. So we will apply the factor theorem, which says x equals to b over a leads to ax minus b as a factor. Simply what it means is we want to find a value for x that will make this whole expression equal to 0. And that will take some trial and error. So let's say, for example, I replace x with a 1. Then I'll have 1 to the power of 3 plus 3 times 1 squared minus 6 times 1 minus 8. That leads to negative 10, which is not equal to 0. So therefore, x minus 1 is not a factor. So I'll continue to substitute values in the place of x up until I find a value that will make this expression equal to 0. So let us test x equal to negative 1. So it's negative 1 cubed plus 3 times negative 1 squared minus 6 times negative 1 minus 8. And that leads to negative 1 plus 3 plus 6 minus 8, which is equal to 0. So therefore, when x is equal to negative 1, this expression becomes equal to 0. Therefore, x plus 1 is a factor for this expression. And an easy way to remember that is when I substituted negative 1, it led to 0, and I reverse that calculation. So I move the negative 1 to the left-hand side, and therefore create a bracket of x plus 1. So now that means I can rewrite this algebraic expression as x plus 1 times ax squared plus bx plus c. So we have partially factorized it by finding a value of x. Now I want to find or solve a, b, and c in this trinomial. And for the a value, I'll take x times ax squared, and I'm trying to recreate x cubed. And I notice the coefficient of x cubed is 1. So if I have 1x times 1x squared, that will lead to x cubed in my first term. So therefore the value of a would be equal to 1. Then for now we are going to skip the value of b, and we are moving on to the value of c. So if I multiply plus 1 with plus c, it must lead to negative 8. Therefore c would be equal to negative 8. So in my bracket I have plus bx minus 8. So for a and c, I can solve it by multiplying the first terms with one another to find the first term in the expression. And if I multiply the last terms in the brackets with one another, I must find the last term in the expression. Now I want to solve the value of bx. And for bx, I would use the whole bracket with the first two terms in the second bracket to create 3x squared. Because 1 times x squared would be 1x squared, and x times bx would be plus bx squared, and that must be equal to 3x squared. So I'm creating terms that are all x squared. Now I can drop the x squared everywhere, so I have 1 plus b is equal to 3, therefore b is equal to 2. So therefore, these brackets would be x plus 1 times x squared plus 2x minus 8. Now I have factorized this cubic expression, and I just check whether or not I cannot factorize this trinomial further. And I see that it is possible, so it's x plus 1 times x plus 4 times x minus 2. So when I factorize this trinomial, it leads to x plus 4 times x minus 2. And that is my final factorization for this cubic expression.